All right, let's do this one more time. Practice makes perfect. Now we're going to do a left-tailed. So you've had experience with each type. A manufacturer of banana chips would like to know whether its bag filling machine works correctly at the 422 gram setting. I'm highlighting that because we're going to have to use that for our null hypothesis. It is believed that the machine is underfilling the bags. Okay, we'll probably have to use that for alternative. And then they give us sample data. A 40 bag sample had a mean of 418 grams. A level of significance of 0.01 will be used. Is there sufficient evidence to support the claim that the bags are underfilled? We're going to assume this population standard deviation is known to be 18. All right, so let's do the test. Step one, first thing you always got to do is set up your hypotheses. So let's go ahead and do that. We know the null is going to be mu equals, and then what value? We found that in the first sentence. They want to know if the bag is working correctly, as in working as designed at the 422 gram setting. So is the mean 422 grams? But it's believed that the machine is underfilling bags, aka it's not working correctly. So underfilling, that means less than, right? So is the actual mean less than 422? So, step one, done. Hypotheses. Step two, specify the significance level. Once again, that's given to us in the problem, and it was 0.01. Dunzo. Step three, select the appropriate test statistic and compute. Well, we're going to be using Z. Once again, it's because we have a bigger sample size. Our sample is 40. Not super big, but it's bigger than 30, right? They know the population standard deviation. The data is quantitative. We're good to go. So we're going to use the Z-test, and let's compute. So once again, the formula is x bar minus mu naught or mu sub 0. Doesn't matter how you say it. All over sigma divided by the square root of the sample size. So let's plug and chug. Our sample data, sample mean, was 40 bag sample had a mean of 418. Then we subtract the mean from the null hypothesis, which is 422, divided by, oh, I gotta plug in my computer. Sorry, one sec. There we go. Okay. Standard deviation is 18. It's given in the problem, divided by the sample size, which was a square root of the sample size, which is square root of 40. So again, to double check and to make sure I get the correct value so I don't lead you astray, we are going to pop over to Desmos. So we had 418 minus 422. All of that divided by standard deviation of 18 divided by the square root of the sample size, which is 40. Now, once again, we got to round to 2 decimal places. Since we have a 5 in the third decimal place, we're going to round to negative 1.41. So negative 1.41. Okay. Step 4. Determine the critical values and set up the decision rule. So critical values is going to pop back up to this table. Here we go. So we're actually working with the same significance level as the last problem, 0.01. And we're using a one-tailed test. So our Z is going to be 2.33 again, just like the last problem. However, there's going to be one small change. It's not exactly going to be, critical value is not just 2.3, it's actually going to be negative 2.33. Why? Let's draw a picture. Boom. Okay. So remember, our population mean lives in the middle, right? So we believe 422 is right here in the middle. But for this test, we're testing to see if, in fact, I forgot this is about bags and underfilling. If those bags are being underfilled, being filled with, a mean less than 422. So that means we're going to be on the left side. And if you recall from, converting everything to z-scores, our z in the middle is 0, positive z's are on the right, and then negative z values are on the left. And since we're working on the left, we're going to have to make our critical value negative. So if you were on the left, a left-tailed test, which means you're doing less than, you need a negative critical value. So don't forget that small little piece, because if you have the wrong sign, then that can really mess up the test essentially. So our critical value is negative 2.33. Oh, I wanted to do red for that, because the rejection region just makes sense to be red. That's when we reject. And then I'll put the rest over here in blue. So our rejection region is right here. What's our decision rule? We are going to reject H naught if we live in this red area, which means if our z is less than or equal to negative 2.33. So that's our decision rule. Reject H naught if z is less than or equal to negative 2.33. And what was our z statistic? Negative 1.41. So is negative 1.41 less than or equal to negative 2.33? No, totally not, right? Negative 1.41 would live somewhere over here, in the blue region, aka the fail to reject region. So, what is that, step 5? That is step 5. Step 5 is comparing. So we just did that. And we determined that that doesn't work. So we are going to fail to reject H naught. And remember, we use the term fail to reject, not accept. We just don't have enough information, or we don't have enough evidence to prove that claim wrong just yet. So to put this in terms of the problem, so there is not sufficient evidence to show that the bags, there we go, are being underfilled. Ta-da! Done. Hypothesis test over. Okay. So all the homework problems in this section are going to be hypothesis tests. However, probably fortunately, you don't have to do a full hypothesis test on every single problem. So I get Hawks just wants to make sure you can do every piece. So some of the questions will just ask for the decision rule. Like right here, they want to know, they'll probably have it typed out, reject H naught if, and then you have to type out this part. And like that's all you'll have to give for that question. And then they'll move on to the next hypothesis, the next problem, which they might take you all the way and ask for the conclusion. Or some of the questions just ask, are we rejecting or fail to reject? So every question's different. Some of them you go all the way through, step 1 through 6. Some of them you stop at a certain step. Maybe they just want the test statistic. So just read the directions. It definitely doesn't hurt to work every problem all the way through, because with these problems, you have to practice this over and over and over. You have to do it a few times. And, that's great with Hawks because we have the practice area where you can practice, and there's like a tutor that you can check out, and there's hints and whatnot. And then you can move into the Certify and practice some more. So a quick note, as you guys may have noticed, the quizzes are due before the homework is actually due. And that doesn't mean just take the quiz and not do the homework until Wednesday. That's not what we want. You should start the homework as early as possible during the week. You don't need to do all of it, or maybe you just are in the practice section, but you need to practice some of these problems before you take the quiz. If you don't do that, you're really going to have a hard time. You can't just watch me work through a couple problems and then expect to just be able to get it. Unfortunately, that's not how math works. It's like playing an instrument. You don't just sit down at a piano and know how to play it. You have to practice at it a lot. It's not easy. Math is the same way. You have to practice these problems before you attempt them on any sort of assessment. So if you haven't been doing that and you've been struggling with the quizzes, please do some problems before you take the quiz. And you don't need to finish the Certify before the quiz, but you definitely need to practice. Also, the quiz problems come from the homework. What a crazy idea. So if you do the homework, or at least practice the problems on the homework, you will have a really good idea of what types of questions you're going to see on the quiz. So again, it's just really helpful if you practice these problems before the quiz. Okay, if you guys have any questions, let me know. If you need to see more videos on some of these problems, also let me know. I have no problem posting up more videos for you. It's what I'm here for. So, have a great week.